The Baltimore Ravens are on the brink of clinching home field throughout the AFC Playoffs. With the win Sunday on New Year's Eve against the Miami Dolphins, they will do just that. The Ravens are red hot. Another dominant statement on Christmas night to a national audience. They return to the bank on Sunday to take on the Dolphins. I got your preview and prediction right here on the Flex Zone podcast. Ravens flock Flex Zone family. I hope you had a great Christmas holiday. Happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa. It was a great Christmas as the best present was unwrapped on Monday night as the Ravens dominated the San Francisco 49ers 33-19, moved to 12-3, one win away from clinching the AFC home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And the Ravens return home to a game that is even bigger than that game was on Christmas night with the world watching, as this is for AFC supremacy as far as seeding in the AFC playoffs. The Ravens have a chance to become the number one seed for the second time in 4 years, and Lamar Jackson, with another great performance, has an opportunity to solidify and lock down his second MVP in 4 years as well. Now, we know what happened in 2019, but I think Harbaugh, his staff, and a lot of these players who were on that team have learned from the 2019 debacle and fiasco. Even if they do clinch this week, I don't think they will rest their players in week 18. I think they will have the starters, the main players, get some reps so they're not completely rusty. And I think the bye is important, and we can get into this after it actually happens because a lot of older guys on this team, especially on the defensive side with the Clownies, Van Noys, the Humphreys, some guys who've been banged up, Stanley, even on the offensive line, Moses, they're going to need that extra week. That extra week could really go a long way for this team. But nevertheless, let's get to the game. Let's get to the injury report. The biggest injury for the Ravens, obviously, is Kyle Hamilton. He was limited in practice today. I I didn't think he was going to play last week. He played. I didn't think he was going to play in Jacksonville. He played. I thought he would be back by this game. It looks like he's going to try to give it a go. All pro caliber player. He's going to make a Pro Bowl this year. Kyle Hamilton on the field is going to be needed to stop the likes of Tyreek Hill. But on the other side, Jalen Waddle is banged up. He has an ankle injury rumored to possibly keep him out for the rest of the regular season. But then Coach Mike McDaniel even came out and said it's not as serious as believed. Let's just say even if he plays, he's not going to be 100% in the Jalen Waddle we saw last year, who was gashing us for over 100 yards and those touchdowns. Mostert was on the injury report, HN as well, but I think they'll both play. Armstead didn't practice for the Ravens. We had a lot of veteran days. We didn't have Zay Flowers practice today. I think Zay will play. Makari will play, it looks like. Queen will play. Stevens didn't practice, but I'm sure he will play as well. So if the Ravens have Kyle Hamilton, I think he's going to be good enough to go and help them on the back end defensively, which they're going to need because the Dolphins are a very good team, people. I know their record against winning teams. They just beat their probably first good team in the Cowboys. But I think this team is well coached. I do think the quarterback is in the right system. He's healthy. He's been kept upright. They have a plethora of weapons, and they're one of the most explosive offenses in the league. But not only the offense, the defense is also pretty good. They're very good against the run, and Ramsey and those boys on the back end are very, very good. Let's get to the keys to the game, everybody. I think the Ravens are the favorites here. They should be. I think M&T Bank Stadium is going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. It's going to be rocking New Year's Eve. The best way to start your New Year's Eve festivities. Most of you going to the game that day won't even make it to those New Year's Eve festivities because you'll be turned up and excited with how the Ravens will hopefully start your New Year's Eve celebration and festivities. But let's get to the offense. Lamar, play like an MVP. Lamar, the MVP is yours to lose. You play like an MVP, you play like Lamar Jackson, you play your game. This is going to help this team win. Secondly, handle the blitz. We know the Dolphins can bring pressure. They have a lot of guys who can get after it. Protect Lamar. Let's handle the blitz. We may get some zero coverages looks. Let's handle the blitz. Let's make some plays against the blitz. Third, Jalen Ramsey. I mean, say what you want about him. He's one of the best corners in the league. He was hurt to start the year. First game back, he comes back with 2 interceptions, I believe. We got to avoid Ramsey in the passing game. We don't want to play with fire too much. I know we have some guys who can make plays. Will they put Ramsey on Flowers? Probably not. I could see Ramsey on Odell, and I could see Ramsey on Bateman. I'm attacking Howard. I'm attacking Xavier Howard. I'm not attacking Ramsey. I'm gonna try to stay from away from him as much as possible, and if anything, make him have to tackle in the running game. Score touchdowns in the red zones. You got to be prepared to score at least 25 to 30 points against this team. Yes, we love Tucker. Yes, we love getting points, but you got to score touchdowns in the red zone against a team like the Dolphins and start to continue that momentum heading into the playoffs offensively to score touchdowns instead of field goals in the red zone. And last but not least, offensively, wide receivers and tight ends are going to have to beat man coverage, as I mentioned. Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, they're going to have to beat coverages one on one. They're going to be some zero coverages. They're going to be physical at the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to beat press. Bateman, I would love to see Bateman. He had over 100 yards last year. Let's see Bateman have a good game. I think likely we'll have some opportunities. Kolar. And I think Flowers, too. I don't really think they have a guy that can stay with Flowers, especially if he's running around on those screen passes, which we saw last week. Defensively, stop the run. Under 100 yards rushing. Achan, Mostert. Mostert averages 5+ yards a carry. Achan is a home run hitter, much like Keaton Mitchell was. Let's keep this rushing attack under 100 yards. Next, make Tua hold the ball. Tua likes to get rid of the ball as quick as anybody in NFL history. Make him hold the ball. Make him have to go through his progressions. Make him have to move outside of the pocket and get off of his spot. Make him uncomfortable. He's a lefty. Force him right. Next, keep Tyreek Hill, the cheetah, under 100 yards. I think in each of their losses, the Dolphins games, he's been under 85, 80 yards. I'm not asking for 80. I'm asking for 100. If we can keep him under 100, don't let him take the top off the defense. I think Mike McDonald will have help over the top consistently. Just keep him under 100 yards. If he gets 70, 85, you shake his hand because he's a great player. Nextly, defense, get their hands up in the passing lane. Tua is 5'11". He's a smaller quarterback like Brock Purdy was. We saw it on Monday night. Clowney, Van Noy, Matabike, Urban, Washington, Travis Jones, Michael Pierce, Humphrey, Millette, Stevens. Get your hands up in the passing lanes. Get your hands up when you're rushing a passer. Kyle Hamilton. Get your hands up, Roquan. Get your hands up, Pat Queen. Knock the ball down. Knock it in the air. Give your defense a chance to intercept it. So put your hands up because he's going to get rid of the ball quick. So I'm not expecting a lot of sacks, but we got to knock him off his spot. Nextly, no plays over 30 yards. This is a big play explosive offense. They can run for over 30. They can pass for over 30. And we saw last year defensively, Ravens gave up a lot of big plays. Special teams, no block kicks. And nextly, let's get a return of 15 or more yards from Tylan Wallace. So offensively, Lamar play like an MVP, handle the blitz, avoid Ramsey in the passing game, score touchdowns in the red zone, wide receivers and tight ends beat man coverage, defensively stop the run under 100 yards, make Tua hold the ball, keep Tyreek Hill under 100 yards, get your hands up in the passing lane, no plays over 30 yards, and no block kicks, and a return of 15 or more yards. This is a Ravens game here. They want to get some sort of redemption from last year, I believe. They want to get some sort of closure from that debacle last season here in M&T Bank in week 2. And the Ravens want to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. They want that bye week. They want to have the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC go through M&T Bank Stadium. Lamar is looking for his MVP. This offense is rolling. The Ravens have been dominant all season. And the 3 losses that they have, they debatably could be undefeated, could have only 1 loss. But the Dolphins are going to be a nice litmus test yet again, like the 49ers were. One of the upper echelon teams in the league, one of the top 3 to 5 teams in the league, depending on who you ask. Like I said, well coached. And this kind of reminds me of the Rams game because they're well coached offensively and their defense is opportunistic. So I'm going with the Ravens to win this game 27-23. I think it will be some points, but I do think at the same time, both defenses are a lot better than they were last year. And I think both offenses will have an opportunity to make some plays, but I think the defenses will have to lock in their horns. I think the Ravens defense will do enough. They'll be able to contain Tua, Tyreek Hill. If Waddle plays, he won't be much of a factor. If they can really make them one dimensional, don't let Moser, don't let Achan get 5, 6 yards a pop. Don't let Tyreek Hill get you for 70, 80 yards down the field on a reception and getting 60, 70 yards of yak and he just giving you the deuces on his way to the end zone. We don't need that again. Lock in, feed off the crowd, play your game, don't turn the ball over, and be aggressive. Tackle well, hit these guys in the mouth, out physical them, out will them because you want to be the number one seed for the AFC playoffs. But I'm going with the Ravens 27-23. I think the Ravens will move to 13-3 and they will clinch the home field advantage through the playoffs heading into 2 weeks left in the regular season, heading into the playoff run. Things are starting to take shape in both conferences. You know, we're going to talk about it on the Flex Zone podcast. We're going to break it all down for you as we end 2023. A great year it was for Ravens coverage and for the Flex Zone podcast. We'll be live for our last live stream of 2023 on New Year's Eve. After the Ravens and Dolphins do business, we'll have the breakdown. Myself, Roger, probably Dre, and we'll probably even have D. We may have the Fantastic Four back together, breaking down the Ravens post game, and hopefully breaking down and predicting who the Ravens might be playing in the playoffs because they will hopefully have clinched the number one seed. But I'm going with the Ravens to win against the Miami Dolphins 27-23. Lock in with us, tap in with us, subscribe if you're new, hit that like button, it helps us out tremendously. Sound off in the comments, hit that like button. Who is going to be a key player, keys to the game, X Factor, things I didn't bring up, prediction. Will the Ravens get the number one seed? Do you want the bye? Sound off in the comments, more content coming on the channel, hit that bell. It's the Flex Zone Podcast. Go Ravens, Ravens flock stand up. Going with the Ravens 27-23. Should be a fun time. Happy New Year. If we don't talk to you before then, hope everyone had a great holiday. We'll be live for the post-game show afterwards on Sunday afternoon. Ravens, Dolphins, 1 p.m. from M&T Bank Stadium. Have fun if you go into the game. And be safe, be careful. Let's start the new year off right with a Ravens victory and clinching the number one seed in the AFC playoffs.